Hello again. Today I went and got my first tattoo. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see it because the position is a little funky here, but there you go. Ugh. Um, as you can probably tell, that is a semicolon. It's hard to tell on the tattoo right now, but it's dark purple that is outlined in black. So I got this done by Brian Gillett over at Breakthrough Tattoo in Upland, California. And for those of you, some of you may already be familiar with the semicolon as a tattoo, but this was started by a thing called Project Semicolon. It's a mental health advocacy thing where they were encouraging people to draw semicolons on themselves and take pictures of them and post them online, because the semicolon is used when an author can end a sentence but they choose not to. So the idea is that your life is the sentence and you can choose to end your life, but you could end your life, but you're choosing not to. And so last month, as I mentioned in another video, I checked myself into the ER because I was suicidal. And so after I'd gotten out of the ER, I found myself watching a bunch of tattoo videos. And so that really got me thinking about tattoos. And so I thought, hey, what about getting a suicide tattoo? So I'm looking at suicide tattoos and I keep seeing the semicolon. And as soon as I saw what the meaning behind it was, I knew I had to have it. I really love the semicolon as a punctuation mark. It's a totally underrated punctuation mark, and I use it a lot. So it's just plain awesome in general. And I got it on my wrist here, so it's in a spot that's really visible. So if I'm, getting into a bad headspace, it's there where I can easily see it, and it serves as a reminder that, that I made a commitment to myself, that I'm not going to kill myself, and that if I need help, it's available. So now I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about the actual process of getting the tattoo and everything. And actually, I first want to talk a little bit about how I actually went about choosing the artist. So I was looking at tattoo shops on Yelp. I just Googled for tattoo shops in my area, or rather I used DuckDuckGo. But anyway, I searched for tattoo shops in my area, came across stuff on Yelp. And what you want to do is you want to pick an artist, not a studio. So I was initially looking at one place, Empire Tattoo. And this is an Empire Tattoo in Upland, California. And so I was looking at, I looked at their website. Their website was mediocre, which made me a little leery. Then I'm looking at the portfolio of the artists, and there was nothing on there that made me go, wow. It was just kind of like, yeah, that's pretty good, I guess. Or there was stuff that was just bad. So I decided, you know what, I'm not going there. So I ended up going, I looked at another place, Breakthrough Tattoo, also in Upland. And I go to look at go on their website, and I go to look at the portfolios of the artist, and I go look at Brian's portfolio, and the very first image that I see, my reaction was fucking A. Like, he does some really, really fantastic old traditional stuff, and that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to be a traditional tattoo. So. And when I looked at, some more of his work that was on the website, I was like, okay, he's doing the tattoo. It became very clear because his work is stunning. And that's what you want to do, is you want to pick a good artist. the the person from the YouTube channel Treacle Tats, one of the things that she said, I think on multiple videos, she says, good tattoos aren't cheap and cheap tattoos aren't good. So when you're getting a tattoo, you just want to look at the artist and get a good artist. Don't go for some bargain basement tattoo because you want to save a buck. Like this tattoo is a fairly small tattoo, but this cost me $100, which is the shop minimum. So a tattoo this small, so yeah, this was $100. Not a small amount of money when you're low income like I am, but I'm gonna say that this was worth every penny. So yeah, check out the artist's work. Make sure that you get a good artist. So, and I mentioned this. Some of this stuff is just a repeat from my last video, but I had an exchange with the artist through email, and you should always feel free to ask any questions of the artist, and if they're hesitant to answer them or you just don't like their answers, then go somewhere else. So I had an exchange with him about whether the ink is vegan, and I actually ended up asking him what brand he uses so I could double check it, just to be on the safe side, and sure enough it was vegan. And one of the things that he did that was way cool, he's not a vegan, so he doesn't really care. All he cares about is the ink good, right? Well, one of the things he did, the black ink that he uses is a different brand, and he actually double checked to make sure that the black ink was vegan. And he even showed me the bottle of ink and showed me the ingredients list. And that is way cool. That's way cool that he did that. So yeah, I go there and, I have to, I've got the little form that I have to fill out, where it's got information about the disclaimers and, whatever. So I fill out the form, and, since I'd scheduled the appointment, by the time I got there, he already had the design done. It was already drawn out, and so he just had to put it on the stencil and everything. And so then finally when he's ready, I go in there and, he places the stencil on me. And initially, so you can see how it's oriented, where where if I hold up my arm like this, it's oriented the right way. He initially had it the other way, but I wanted it so I could just bring my arm up to look at it. So he puts a stencil on there, then I'm looking at it, and it looks crooked. So I point that out to him, and then he pointed out to me that the placement was such that when I have my arm down, it's straight, because when you bring your arm up or you twist it or whatever, it's gonna make everything look crooked. So it's very cool that he actually explained the rationale for the placement, because I didn't even think about the way the skin moves. The way the skin moves as you twist, and how the top of the tattoo is going to be in a slight off center from the bottom of the part of the tattoo when you twist. So that's very cool that he took the time to explain that. And of course I was nervous, and he was telling me that there's really nothing to worry about. It's not as bad as you think. And so what he did is, initially he was saying that with new folks, he initially just does a little bit of a line and stops just so you can see, it's not that bad. And so, yeah, the pain was not too bad, actually. I'd say, if I could describe the pain, it almost felt like a vibrating knife. I mean, it's kind of hard to describe. I mean, it definitely hurt, for sure. It was not a pain-free procedure at all. It definitely hurt, but the pain for me was definitely tolerable. Now, this is a small tattoo that didn't take very long. So I don't know how I'm going to do with bigger tattoos. I'll probably be okay. Because one of the nice things about the process is that after, putting in some ink, he has to wipe everything down. So it's not like a constant pain because he has to wipe everything down and dunk the needle back in the ink. So that gives you some breaks from the pain, so it's not just constant pain like that. And of course, if I were going to be doing a much bigger tattoo, I'm sure, like, if I needed to, like, halfway through or something, I could be like, hey, can we take a little 5-minute break here or whatever, right? Then I could, I could then go to the bathroom, maybe, drink something, eat something, go outside, get some air, whatever, right? So, and of course, also, if you're doing like a really big tattoo, you don't have to do it all in one sitting. You can just do part of it and then come back later for the rest. And so, yeah, this was not bad. And so far it's turning out really nice. And one of the things that Brian said is that he does free touch-ups. So a month down the road, if there's any problems with the tattoo, if I can come back and he can touch it up. And that's very cool. I kind of get the impression that that's pretty standard practice. So if your tattoo artist doesn't do free touch-ups, that might be suspect. But I know Brian does, so that's really cool. It's really great that I know that if there's some parts that are faded or whatever after a month, I can just come back and he'll touch it up. I love that. Now, as far as the healing goes, my instructions basically, initially it was wrapped with plastic wrap. And so I took that off when I got home. I was supposed to keep it on for at least an hour. It was a number of hours before I actually took it off. But just a little while ago, I took it off, and then I washed it with just regular soap, as he suggested. I used Dr. Bronner's because it's really the unscented Dr. Bronner's because it's nice and mild. So I washed it off with soap, and then patted it dry, like he said. And then you just got to keep it moisturized. So he said to use an unscented moisturizer. I'm using this hemp moisturizer because I've got a whole bunch of it. This is one that my sister gave me, so this is what I'm going to keep using. And so hopefully everything will be okay. And some people, they will then rewrap their tattoo in plastic wrap. And because I'd heard of people doing that, I actually bought plastic wrap, which I don't normally have a need for. But the artist said not to wrap it in plastic wrap, so I'm just going to follow the artist's instructions. So tomorrow morning, when I get up, I'm going to give it another wash, and again, pat it dry, and then I'm going to, again, apply more moisturizer and make sure that it stays hydrated. My sister was telling me about her husband had an issue with his tattoo where he didn't keep it moisturized, and then it got to the point of like being dry and itchy, and he went to scratch it, and it ruined part of the tattoo. So I definitely want to keep it dry, moisturized. And I'm a scab picker. I love picking scabs, so I'm gonna have to. So this is definitely gonna be, if it starts scabbing up, I'm gonna have to be very, very, very careful to avoid picking it because I don't want to fuck up the design. So we'll see how well that goes, but I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be able to manage avoiding picking it just because it is a tattoo versus just a little random scab that I got from somewhere. So yeah, I'm just super fucking stoked about this tattoo. And I'd had some other ideas for what I was going to get as a first tattoo, and this one honestly was an impulse tattoo. This is one that I did not spend a ton of time thinking about, but I'm really, really glad that I got it. This tattoo is it's important. This is a tattoo where it's friggin' awesome. That's all I can say. And if this tattoo helps keep me from killing myself or harming myself in other ways, that's great. So yeah, I love it, and I am definitely going to be getting more tattoos. I've already been got some ideas, and I mean, I just got the tattoo today, and I'm like, and I'm already thinking, ooh, I need more. I need more. So what I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm just going to start saving money for tattoos, like every month. Just set aside a little bit of money for a tattoo. So then once I get around to getting my next tattoo, I'll have enough money for whatever it happens to be. And I'm not sure what my next one is going to be. Because I kind of want to do one on this side, just to kind of keep things even, so it's not just a bunch on one side and nothing on the other. And the other one, I'm thinking of doing on my wrist, the Autistic Pride emblem. That one will be a relatively small tattoo, so that one might also only run me $100 like this one. But yeah. Oh, and something I forgot to mention. And this tattoo is actually a little bit bigger than I initially envisioned. But I'm actually really glad that it's a little bigger because it gives more room for the purple ink, and it just makes it more visible. I like it. I definitely dig it. It's very cool. And it's awesome that I finally got a tattoo. Like, I'm 39. I've had piercings like for years. I mean, I got my first piercings when I turned 18. So I think I was 18, 19 when I got it done. And so, like, I mean, it's just, it's just so awesome that I finally got my tattoo. And the other thing about this particular tattoo, or just getting a tattoo in general, is I've decided that there's things that I want to do with my life before I turn 40. You know, like I want to make sure that I get my weight down, and then I've got some, you know, other surgeries that I want to get going on, you know, and whatever. So a tattoo, it's like, I mean, it's great that, so the tattoo is part of it. It's like, okay, I've gotten a tattoo before I'm 40, and I need to work on, you know, getting my weight down as best I can and work on the other stuff. And so by the time I'm 40, I'm off to a good start, right? And yeah, so I've been kind of rambly here, but yeah, this is way cool. Oh, and something else to add before I sign off. I am on the the Facebook group for Treacle Tats, and so I posted this on her Facebook group, and you know, and told my story about having been suicidal and all that, and I got a bunch of really nice replies. Like, the first one was like, somebody was like, "Yeah, you're not alone," and she showed a picture of her own semicolon tat, and other people chimed in about how they had semicolon tattoos as well. And so it's if you're into that, so far I'm really liking the group. I mean, the fact that all these people just jumped right in and were like, hey, I can relate. I mean, it's very cool to have that kind of a support where, you know, where, I mean, it's about the ink on our skin, but we have this, like, these sort of shared experiences. You know, our circumstances may be a little different, but we've all been there, basically, and then we've gotten, you know, the tattoo to symbolize our struggles. And I just think that's way cool. And the other thing that I just think is way cool about tattoos is how the way in which we can all have the same design but have it be different. Like the person who posted her picture of the semicolon tattoo, hers was a tattoo that said faith, and the I in faith was the semicolon. And so I just think that's way cool how you can have the same, something as simple as a punctuation mark, and there's just so many different ways you can do it. So, yeah, I'm really stoked I'm really glad that I joined that group. It looks like there's good people there. So yeah, and I think this is gonna, yeah, I think this will do it for this video, so I'm not rambling on because I have a tendency to do that. And so, yeah, I got a tattoo. Fuck yeah. And I'm definitely going to be getting more. I hope to get at least one more by the end of the year. I may very well do more than one more. And I will see you all later.